put him in jail. And people are like, O.J. Simpson, are you serious right now? You're talking about holding murderers accountable? This is
the worst person to speak on the topic.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I saw that.
Yeah, motherfucker. We're gonna take it up a few notches right now. See if y'all can keep up.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 102 of the ScruffCast. I'm Dan.
And I'm John.
And it is the second episode of the next century. No, we're not gonna. That's not how we're gonna do every episode.
It is the 77th episode.
The third episode of the second century.
Yeah, we just go by the century marks. And you know, I gotta admit, I feel like we really wanted to bring it this second century, and we haven't really brought it.
No, last week was a little bit whatever, and then this week, I don't like. This whole week's been a little weird, with everything going on.
Yeah.
In the States and stuff like that. Like, I just feel a little down. Like,
Yeah,
I don't feel like the upbeat nature as much that we would normally at least try to bring to this.
I hear you, dude. Like, today I was just kind of like, because, especially me, just scrolling through Twitter, just scrolling and scrolling. It's kind of depressing, man.
Yeah, it's brutal. Because I think, I don't think this happened. I forget exactly when it happened. When the guy George Floyd. Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, that's his name, I think.
May 25th was when he got killed.
Yeah, so that was what, Tuesday? Last Tuesday. So we had already recorded.
Yeah, it was like last Monday or Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, so we had already kind of recorded before we knew anything was going on, and then in the week that led to this, now it's like, man, shit got pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was like a huge escalation.
You saw the video, I'm assuming?
I saw screenshots of it on Twitter, but I was like, I don't want to watch this.
I know,
but I got the gist of it from what I.
Yeah, I kind of thought the same thing too, and I watched the video. I didn't watch the sound. I don't know if you can hear him saying anything, but I just kind of watched the video. Oh my god, man, it's brutal.
Yeah, so I was reading that. Well, the cop had him pinned down, right, with his neck on the guy's knee. For 9 minutes. I was like,
or his knee, the knee on his neck.
Sorry, yes. Dude, 9 minutes
if his neck was on his knee, I think, there probably wouldn't be many issues right now.
Yeah, it would have been the other way around.
Yeah.
So, dude, 9 minutes is a long time. Because I was thinking about
That's how long it was, eh?
I was like, dude, this was
Christ.
Totally 8 minutes, 46 seconds. So just about 9 minutes. No, I was like, I don't know. It was as if there was any doubt that guy just straight up killed him, right? That's a long time to just be sitting there. Because, think if you just had to kneel for 9 minutes just for, any reason. Imagine you went to church, right? And it's
exhausting.
They start praying and you got to kneel for 9 minutes. You're like, oh, my God, this has been going on for a long time. You'd be uncomfortable. Yeah. So to do that while you're, killing, crushing
you're killing somebody, man.
Heck, yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it was the whole thing is just – and now there's, all the protests and stuff in the States, which at first, stuff like this happens – it happens too frequently, obviously, right? And there's the odd protest here and there, but it's hit a boiling point a little bit. This is this isn't just the normal a 1 day protest type thing. This is serious.
Yeah, right. Normally stuff like this happens, people get outraged, and then rightfully so, and then it just sort of fizzles. But this time it's been huge. I've even seen thousands of people marching in New Zealand and stuff. I saw earlier today on Twitter.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome actually to see it all go down. I remember, you think at first, because, the protests and stuff like that, they're getting pretty, in some places, there's a lot of, looting and, burning places down or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And, at first glance, it's kind of what the hell are they doing? You don't gotta go about it this way, you can do it, in a more peaceful way, whatever, but at the same time, it's hard for us to get it, you know what I mean? Because we're straight white men. It doesn't get any easier.
Yeah, whereas
than the way we have it. It is what
exactly.
it is. But so we will never fully understand it. But imagine just the same shit happening over and over and over and over to your race or whatever it may be, right? And nothing gets done about it. It's just the same things happening over after a while, because there's been peaceful protests. There's been tons of stuff like that already, right?
Yeah, there has, like when Colin Kaepernick kneeled during the anthem, that set off this whole big thing.
Oh my God, yeah.
I think one of the problems is this happened with the Kaepernick thing, and this is sort of happening now, which is like, so with the Colin Kaepernick thing, it was turning into like, you're disrespecting the flag. And it, like the original message just got,
Yeah.
yeah, the original message just got totally hijacked, right? And a
Yes.
bigger
Yeah.
narrative sort of came up, right? And then with this, like, dude, it's the media, man. The media is brutal because, you scroll on Twitter and you see on the news and stuff, and you just see people rioting, like lighting stuff on fire. And the average person, you see this happening, and it sort of turns you away. You're like, oh my God, like this is crazy. What are these people doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
But you don't see on the news, and I was like actually wagging my finger over here, but the listeners can't see.
Yeah. There was
I
a
went
finger
on
wag
Twitter, and it's like, dude, the next day, hundreds of people showed up to the downtown area in like
to
Minneapolis
help clean up and
and they're
stuff
like
like
cleaning up the streets. I'm like, why doesn't the news show this stuff, like the good
that. Yeah,
stuff?
I
You know what
know.
I mean? I had no idea.
That's like the one, I guess, somewhat positive thing about Twitter or about like just social media and stuff, right? It's its own media platform, and
Yeah,
it's where anyone can post any video they want to, which has its benefits. Well, it has a negative side, right? Like I hate it for all that, but this is where you see the benefits, right?
well, that's exactly how this took off, right? I believe like the original video of with George Floyd getting murdered was like streamed to Facebook Live or something like that, and then people
Right.
see this and they're like, dude, what the hell? And then it just takes off, right? So that's the power of social
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I saw that, I was like, man, I had no idea people are showing up and cleaning, right? And doing the stuff like, like the stuff that makes you like, feel good. You're like, there is some hope.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
was like, how come they don't show this stuff? Because nobody clicks on those things, right? Nobody
Oh, people cleaning up, boring. Yeah, that's what people
doesn't make
think,
the
right?
headlines. But by the same notion, dude, it's crazy. So I think that this, because I was saying before the original message getting hijacked, right? So
Yeah.
you see, like, dude, a lot of times, from what I can have seen online, right, the past week or so, it sort of follows a formula, right? People are like, tweeting like, look at this nice peaceful protest. A lot of times, dude, super peaceful. Everybody's sitting out there, and kneeling, whatever. And you're like, oh, everybody coming together, right? Black people, white
Yeah.
people, Indian people, Asian people, just everybody, which is nice, right? And then it's, people are like, oh, look, the cops came and they kneeled with us and it's all good. And then it's like, oh, an hour later, they started beating the shit out of us,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, there's some stuff I've been seeing out there too, right? Where it's like, there's cops like with the people, they're kneeling, you know what I mean? They're marching with them. They're not marching against them or towards them, right? And like that stuff's good to see. That stuff like it has to be done, right?
Yeah.
Because like at the end of the day, there's like out of all the looting and rioting and stuff going on, there's way more people protesting peacefully, even now, right? Even like
Yeah.
with all the frustration, the anger going on, there's still much more peaceful protests. But at the same time, it's like I get it, man. I get why you just want to break shit. You know what I mean? Like it would be
I
frustrating.
understand. Yeah. I understand the
Yeah.
frustration. I mean, well, to the best of my ability, right? But at the same
Hmm.
time, it's dangerous because then that like turns people off of the message, right? The bigger thing is that the people who are going and protesting peacefully aren't the same people that are destroying and looting shit, right? So if I was one of the people down there peacefully protesting and then I saw people come in and destroy shit, dude, I would be pissed off because I'm like, you're sort of diluting the message of what we're doing. Because then,
Yeah.
like Trump gets on Twitter and people go like, oh, they shouldn't be breaking the curfew and doing all this stuff,
Those
right?
people are terrible. Yeah, this and that. It's like,
Right,
oh, come on.
because of course only the bad ones stand out. But then you see videos. So I think it originally started right as this, you know, uh, it started from when George Floyd got killed, and it was like a race thing, right? Rightfully so.
Yes.
And then it sort of
Yeah.
grew into this bigger thing of like totally, well, obviously still centered on race, but of just like in general, like police brutality. Because there's videos out there like the police just beating their shit out of everybody, regardless,
Yeah, but
right?
it's like especially black people though. That's like the alarming thing, right?
Yeah, no, of course, right? I'm not like
Don't try to
like diminishing
John.
that.
Come on. Don't try to downplay this, all right?
No, I'm not trying to diminish that. That's not what I'm saying.
I'm
I'm saying
joking.
it
I'm joking.
started and then it's grown into this bigger thing, right? Like because you see the cops just out there, just obviously, everybody originally got out there sort of fighting for the, the disproportionate amount of times this happens to black people compared to everybody else.
Yes.
Then
Yeah.
it's grown into this just bigger, like I feel like it's two separate issues. Obviously, the racism is its own issue, which is just this huge, massive issue everybody's fighting for.
Yeah.
And then police brutality, right?
Okay, yeah. So like you're essentially saying there's a racism issue and then there's a police brutality issue, and then
Yes.
of course they can coexist
They
together.
overlap,
Yeah,
especially
exactly. Yeah.
worse for Black people because of the racism issue.
But you're right.
So
There
that's
is
how it's
definitely two
grown.
separate problems.
Yeah. And then, dude, it's crazy. Like, so we were just talking about before the podcast started, like one of the crowd control tactics like police will use, they'll fire rubber bullets at people because, they don't want to just shoot and kill people. Well, at least we hope they don't.
Yeah.
So I had always imagined like rubber bullets, small rubber, maybe like the size of a BB or something like that. I didn't know this until a couple of days ago, and I just showed you before the podcast started. Dude, rubber bullets are big. They're like the size of like 2 golf balls or so. Like there's these hefty things that are getting fired
they're
at
massive.
people.
I didn't think they'd be that big either.
Yeah.
Hey, you know who we should have had on for this is Ian.
We should. It would be good. It would have been good to get the other perspective.
Can we like call him in right now? Can we like jump him into this while it's recording?
We could try. I don't know.
All right.
It's 10 p.m. Maybe he's sleeping.
I'm gonna text him. Let's just see what happens.
Hey, dude, it doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt. I know we can always edit this stuff in. We don't really do any editing, but you never know. But yeah, it's been crazy out there, and I don't really see any like end of it in sight, because normally, like you said at the beginning of the show, these things start and then they sort of fizzle out after a while. But this one definitely feels different, right? It's like sort of reached a boiling point. But the bigger thing is too, it's not like, everybody's got to go back to work and things got to open up, because like before all this happened, we were already in the middle of this like worldwide pandemic, right? Which had everybody home from work and had all these things closed.
Which nobody's even talking about anymore. Which is refreshing, to be honest with you. But this is not the way I didn't want it to be, not talked about. But
yeah, it's been 2020, man. It's been crazy.
Yeah, it has. But it's I don't know, man. It's pretty sad. Like you try to put yourself in those shoes, right? You're just like, God damn it, man. Like imagine being afraid to walk out of your house, for any reason. Because dude, these people, this guy, was it a $20 bill or was it a check that he wrote for $20?
I was reading it was like it was suspected to be a fake $20 bill.
It was a bill, okay, yeah. Which it turns out it wasn't. It was real.
Oh, really?
But like
I had just assumed.
Yeah. That's what I heard. That turns out it was actually real. So the woman just like called the police. Which, like, first off, I work at a store. Like, I don't know how things work down there. I don't know what the protocol is. But like, if we got a fake bill, we would never call the police.
You would just like refuse to accept the bill and be like, "Oh, I can't give you." I think
you
it was
would refuse to accept the bill,
right? You'd say like, "Oh, we can't accept this." And it's not like he was like freaking out, being like, "Oh, you can't accept my bill." From everything I saw, he was totally reasonable. Even when the police showed up and stuff, he was all chill. Yeah, exactly. And the police just like went ape shit, threw him on the ground, and they were like, "Fucking killed him." It's insane.
It's pretty wild, man.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna try to get Ian in here.
Ooh, live, like a
dude, this is
live invite onto the show. Yeah. Dude,
this is like
this live.
This is kind of groundbreaking right now. What we're about to do, if it works properly, there's a strong chance it won't work properly because just our luck, obviously.
I also wonder if he's gonna know right away that it's recording already as he comes in.
I think I told him.
Well, we'll see. Did you actually send him a thing?
Yeah.
All right. This is interesting.
Yeah. No, sorry. There's a little bit of dead air right now, just because I'm trying to sort all this out.
Yeah, but
see, I'm co-host / producer of the show. You know what I mean? This is
what you did schedule everything for when we did at the episode 100 spectacular.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
alrighty. So we'll just see. Maybe he'll just pop in here at some point. I don't even know.
But it's been pretty wild. Just kind of following it over the last couple of days.
Yeah,
and dude,
for sure.
I see all these weird, like almost conspiracy-esque things online. I saw people sort of talking about in a bunch of different cities. They were just seeing like pallets of bricks. Just like, taped up, and it's like, it's not even a construction site. Why are they here?
Yeah, that's
what they're saying, that like different times.
The governments and the police are like putting bricks out to like almost like, hey, come throw these bricks through some windows.
Like, I mean, they're not forcing people to pick up the bricks, but like, dude, when you're putting it right there, like it's it's like putting dessert out at like a, fat camp, right?
Yeah.
Like it's enticing. Like, how could people not? Oh, Ian's here. We're going to.
All right, let's see. Here we go.
All right, Ian. He's connecting to the audio.
Yep. Hey!
Welcome. You are live on the ScruffCast. We're recording right now.
Dude, we're literally recording right now.
We've never done this before.
Funny, the way Danny sent the text, it seemed like I was like being summoned to the principal's office or something.
I was like, are you doing anything right this second? Oh my God, dude, I see me in the background of your room.
Yeah, I threw up all the cards and that.
Oh, there's
you
2 of
guys
me
sent
up
me.
there. Look at that.
Very
There's
nice.
the 3 actually,
Oh yeah, technically there's the
and there's
thing
the
too.
4th one too that you and John sent through. I don't know if you can
Oh,
read.
dude, is it your birthday?
Yeah, look at
See?
us.
Yeah, you are too nice.
Look at us.
You're
Dude,
too
you
nice.
were on that too. It says Jon and Dan.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you just thought it was me. All right. Anyway.
No.
All right, what's going
Yeah.
on?
Okay. So anyway, Ian, we're talking about like the George Floyd. Am I mixing his name up?
No, that's the correct
That's
No,
name.
the
I think
first thing
that's
I want to do
correct.
is not make sure I don't sound like an idiot. Okay.
No, you're good.
We want to get your take on it, man. We're 2 white guys. Like we're doing our best to and like let's keep in mind here. Like we're like we've already kind of given our opinions so far on this, and it's like it's absolutely brutal the whole situation down there, what's been happening, right? But like from our perspective, we don't know what it's like to walk out of our house and not feel safe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and honestly, it's kind of hard for even me to say because like I don't live in the States. I have never dealt with any cops in the States before, other than
Yeah,
your typical border patrol. But border patrol's always been assholes
yeah,
as
they're
they are.
terrible.
But this one's interesting because I know been a lot of cases like you can recall back to George Zimmerman and
Hmm.
I forget the other guy's name. It's blanking me right now, but the guy that was
I
selling
think I know.
cigarettes out, the guy that was
Yeah,
selling
Oh,
cigarettes
Emily
outside the
Gardner,
store.
Eric
yeah.
Gardner.
Sorry,
Is that what
yeah,
it was?
Eric Gardner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like while there were protests and people outraged, I think this one with the coronavirus and people just being fed up, I think like it sparked something. And then you see like I think there was international protests now. Before those guys, that when they died because of either cops or racist people,
Hmm.
you used to see just like a little bit of protest, but this one really did stir something in people.
Yeah, man, for sure.
I'm kind of glad because it does show like a stigma that a lot of people of color have been dealing with. And, like this goes deep, right? It's not even just with black people; it's with Asian people, and there's been Asian people that got abused because of coronavirus, and they're getting blamed for it. You know,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you've seen like the in Vancouver with Chinatown being like I guess graffitied upon and like a lot of
No.
slander against Chinese people.
Really, eh?
Yeah, yeah. So with this though, it's kind of scary to see someone just flat out get killed like that by a police officer. You know, someone that's supposed to just care about your safety,
Yeah, I know.
but with bystanders watching too, man, it's messed up.
What's crazy is like this isn't the first time we've seen this happen. It seems like it's like a at least a monthly occurrence where some video pops up on Twitter or something like that, right? But this is like it's reached its breaking point. That's kind of what we were talking about earlier, right? Where it's like people have
Mhm.
like it's finally because you see this before, right? You see protests, you see Black Lives Matter protests and stuff like that, and they're the day and they're great and stuff, and but like that like it doesn't spark change. And I'm not to say like that's Black Lives Matter like the protest group's fault, but like nobody almost takes it seriously, right? But now it's like it's been like a week of
Well, what's the
protests, right?
problem? The problem is that, and I was reading the article that Obama put out, and he was basically saying that protesting is great for awareness, but you have to really get down to the nitty gritty of the political system and like vote in like local people because like people like I'm using the states as an example, but like your attorney general, people like that get voted in. So and
Yeah,
according to the stats that he was providing, like those are like the lowest voter turnouts that you can get is like state attorneys, attorney general, police chief. Like you can, those are all votable positions, but no one comes out to vote. So it's kind of like
true. Yeah,
you get the awareness, but like you need people to actually fundamentally go in and start actively voting, actively trying to change the system from a political point of view.
I believe it, dude. Because like if you ask the average person, right, if they could name anybody in one of those positions in like their local area, they wouldn't know. I know I don't know, right? And I read
yeah, yeah.
a little bit of Obama's thing as well. And he was sort of saying that, protesting is powerful, but it's when everybody comes together and they're organized. That's when it, has the power to really affect change.
But the thing is, this is what we were talking about earlier, right? Like I think like it is happening because you do see videos out there where people where people are peacefully protesting and they're all coming together and there's black people, there's white people, there's Asian people, there's whatever, right? All together like protesting, right? But the only stuff they'll show on TV is the bricks being thrown through windows and buildings being lit on fire, right? That's the only thing they're actually showing. I think there is a lot of good being done, right?
That's the whole media like for you, right? They're just trying to get people to watch and get people to get outraged, so they
It's
can
brutal, man.
get the viewers, get the audiences.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not a good
for sure.
situation at all.
No.
And it's kind of crazy because this is the first time I've had people actually reach out and ask if I was okay, and like I never had that before. It was really a sobering experience. So that's why I went out to talk about like how the 2 times that I dealt with cops and like those experiences and like how they impacted me, and like it is a different experience, man.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, do you feel the same effects here? You know what I mean? Is that a thing that does happen here? Because, like I said, we don't know. Well, like, yeah, we wouldn't know, right? We've never experienced it.
Yeah, and I shared 2 examples on Twitter, but like one of them was a friend and I were smoking a joint in the park, and like this car just rolls out of nowhere, and two guys get out and show their badge, and just automatically it's like hands up, and then they start searching us and trying to find out if we had any other weed. But funny enough, it was after my friend's grandma's funeral, so he just wanted to smoke and talk, and like we were just literally on a bench talking about like life and death and what that all means, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
these 2 guys just roll up. So that part was crazy. And then the other time I was at the bank because I was going to Salsa in St. Clair, and I was just pulling out money because like you can't really use your debit card or credit card at a festival, right? So
Yeah.
I got out of the bank, and then this cop car kind of like pulls up and like stops. I'm like, this is not looking good. So 2 guys get out, and again they ID me, and one guy's like, "You unfortunately look like the person of question that we've been called about." I'm like, I look around and I'm the only like black guy around. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh fuck. So I just
Damn, man, that's
comply.
crazy.
I give him my ID, and then they look and they stare at it, and then they ask. I don't know why, like my ID is fully like shown in front of me, and they're like, "Where do you live?" And I started answering those questions and
It's
asking me
almost
what I
like
was
they
doing.
think it's a fake ID or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus
And then you get
Christ.
examples of a friend and I. We went to Yorkdale once, and like it was at Holt Renfrew, which is a really expensive store. He
Mm-hmm.
was trying to look for a gift for his girlfriend, and we were getting followed around by security within the store, and like there's we just had to like leave it after like I think it was like 10 minutes because we just didn't want to be followed anymore.
That's ridiculous, man. You know what's like what's funny you bring this up? So like the only encounter I'd say I'd had with a police officer, and like this is a good indication of how different it is because I'm white. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I've probably told you this story, John. I don't think I've told you though, Ian. So like this is a while ago now. We were really into airsoft. So we had like the BB guns, we had them all, and they looked like real. There was no orange tips on the end. There was not like everything looked like real guns.
Right.
So one day we're at work, me and another guy, and our boss asked us just stick around. We weren't on the clock or anything. We were just hanging out. He said, just stick around just in case. When I come back, you guys can leave. So we said, okay. So we're outside. I had the BB guns in my car. There was like a bunch of like skids with like old pumpkins in them. So I was like, okay, let's shoot these pumpkins while we're here, right? Something to do. We'll pull the airsoft guns out, start shooting them. So our work obviously is on like a busy street. And so obviously that was a dumb idea right from the start. But this like big cargo van drives by, and then all of a sudden just like whips back around and flies into the parking lot. And I was like, oh my God, like it's cops for sure. I was like, put the guns down. So they come in and they boom, instantly like pull their guns on us, right? We were like, oh my God, they're BB guns. And that was kind of it. They checked our IDs and everything was good. And they're just like, all right, well, just keep them in your cars. And that was it. But like I was thinking, like, damn, if I was black, they probably just would have hopped out and shot us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, it would have been I don't know, like it just would have been a very different experience.
Yeah,
This is
that's
right
like
away you would have got like gang related or something crazy like that.
that's the thing, right? They checked out the BB guns and they were like, okay, they're obviously just BB guns, and they were just like, all right, well, yeah, these look really real. Just just keep them safe in your trunk. That's all. Like that was literally it. Nothing else. And I was like, man, like that could have gone way worse. Think about like in the States, you hear stuff with like a kid walking with a cell phone and police mistaking it for a gun and shoot him. You know what I mean? Like we literally had guns.
Yeah.
and we were okay. Like, and that is white privilege, John, in case you didn't know.
Yeah, I haven't had much experience with the cops. Getting pulled over for speeding. That's about it.
Yeah, there's the regular stuff like that, but that was the only, kind of major event.
I do find it kind of crazy though, because like I've seen, like I admit I've been kind of addicted to just looking at like Twitter posts and just all the reaction about it, and I've seen some people just like totally try to disown white people, but it's like that doesn't make any sense. Like you can't just disown a full race. Like not everybody's
Yeah.
reflective of that, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I find that very, I don't know. I find that people's hearts are in the right directions, but it does take some time to just like take a step back and be like, yo,
Yeah.
relax a little. Like it's not everybody who's white's fault because of this. It's just I don't want to say a few bad apples because that's been used a lot and it's used incorrectly. But
Yeah. There's a
I
lot
can't
more than a
find a
few,
better,
but still, yeah.
yeah,
I know what
can't
you
find a
mean.
better analogy for it.
I think the same thing goes with the cops too, right? Like
Mhm.
there is obviously not every single police officer is, racist and the worst person in the world, but there are definitely some, right? There's shitty people in every job.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter
Yeah.
like what job you're in, right? Some of them just happen to hold more power than the rest of us, which are cops, right? There's still going to be shitty people within that field as well.
just sucks that police are militarized now. That's the only downside, especially in the States more so.
Oh my god, it's insane.
I was reading earlier today that people were saying like, oh, why do they have like such, high caliber gear? It's that I don't know, for the past number of years or whatever, the Pentagon, I think it was the Pentagon, sort of gives excess supplies or designates like excess supplies just to local police departments. Because like, well, like we don't, we're not using this, we'll just give it to local police departments.
Damn.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
it's a
crazy.
little alarming to say the least, but
And the hard part is that like it's a huge problem, right? That sort of like is at all levels of life. But it's like I don't want to say it's impossible, but it's like how do you solve it? You got to weed out all of the shitty people, right, from everywhere.
Yeah, and unfortunately, this is like years upon years of things building up and like a whole system being in place so they can, I guess, abuse the power. You know?
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's I don't know. I don't like.
Yeah, and the like one of the problems is that like it's the whole thing of like cops protecting cops, right?
That's a big thing too. It's like a fraternity, right? Like they'll just band together. They won't turn against each other.
I saw a video on Twitter of all of the cops like in Minnesota or well in Minneapolis, like around like the cop that killed George Floyd, like around his house defending him, right? Or like I guess
Yeah,
preventing protesters from because like dude, they would just went in there and killed the guy, right? Like he was the most
yeah,
hated man, right?
Hmm.
Rightfully so. And dude, it was like hundreds. So if you're
yeah.
like one of the other
Backing him up.
cops,
And by that point, he was already fired too. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Like, would you feel shitty about it? Like, man, I really don't want to go like defend this guy's house, right? Like, this guy killed somebody. Like,
yeah. I know.
this is fucked up.
And I guess a tricky situation is too. It's like with some of these people that are having to go out and face protesters, right? And I'm sure some of them are like, "This is bullshit." Like, I don't want to be. I want to be with these protesters because I believe what they believe, right? But that's their jobs to go out there and be the force on the opposite side. And you have to choose like you're living because like if you were to turn your back, you'd probably be fired and you'd never become a police officer again. Like the thing you're qualified for, you could never do it again in your life, right?
So I'm kind of curious to see what before they even go out and gear up for these protests. Like, I wonder what they've been told. Like, is it to keep it peaceful? Because I've seen like even reporters are getting shot with like rubber bullets and tear
Yeah,
gas and all
Yeah.
that.
arrested and stuff too.
Dude,
Yeah,
it's insane. Tons of videos of the like people doing nothing. Dude, I saw this one of the police are arresting some person, right? And guy's walking by. He has a mask on, right, from coronavirus, and a backpack. And I don't know what the guy said. The guy might have said some shit to the cops, which is not a crime, right? As far as I know, dude, the cop just
yeah.
goes grabs the guy's backpack and he's just dragging the guy. It's like what
Oh,
the
I
hell?
saw that.
Did you
Yeah,
see this
yeah,
one?
yeah.
Yeah. It's like for what reason? The cop's like, oh, if he's, if my partner's bringing back a guy, I got to bring a guy. Like, just
Yeah,
grab the guy for no reason.
they're
And
all
it's
in defense mode now, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's
I don't know.
I think my favorite was the two cops that tried arresting one guy and then they put him in handcuffs and then they went into his pockets and ended up pulling out an FBI badge.
I
Yeah,
saw
the
this.
guys
Yeah,
that I saw this video. Yeah, so good. I
Crazy.
love shit like that though. Like I love it. Just the script flips. This guy's way higher up than they are. Like he could end their careers if he wanted to. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I love that. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
there's not much they can do at that point, but not all situations are like that, and people are getting arrested, unfortunately, for just protesting. But it seems like a lot of them do get out within that 24 hour.
yeah. Dude, did you see that they arrested CNN's camera crew like the first night after the protest in the morning?
Yeah.
Dude, like live while CNN's airing, they just arrest the guy. And it's like, dude, what are they thinking? Do they not think people are going to see this? And he was a black guy.
Yeah. On top
Which
of
also
it,
furthering the issue everybody was, protesting
the
about
original
the very
issue.
night before. Yeah. And there was other people on his crew who were white who they didn't arrest. They just arrested him. It's like, oh my goodness.
Aren't you proud to be a Canadian right now? Like,
I know, and like Canada has its own problems. That has racism too, right? But it's a whole other level down there. I think, man.
Yeah,
it is wild.
Yeah. Not that we're our country's perfect by any means, but I saw a tweet that somebody said, "Oh, Canada must feel like the people living in the apartment above the meth lab downstairs." I was like, "Oh, kind of."
That's pretty spot on.
That meth lab is going to explode anytime soon.
It does. The thing is, Trump doesn't help the situation at all, right? He's not a calming voice. He's not, he's not a leader. That's really what it is, right? He's not there saying like, all right, like listen, I know your frustration. Like something must be done about this, but can we tone it down? Can we have a better discussion about this? Can we do it peacefully? He doesn't care about that. He's just like, we're going to fight back with military force. So he's like putting the whole country.
Yeah, his tweets. Well, we talked about it last time when he was on part of episode 100 and saying he's like, if Dweeby Democrat mayor, whatever the guy's name is, doesn't get it under control, I'll send the military. When the looting starts, the shooting starts. Thank you, dude. He has the balls to end the tweet with "thank you,"
which apparently like that.
And then Twitter hit it.
Yeah, which he just went ballistic.
Apparently that phrase too is like it comes from back in the 60s or something like that. I think, or maybe the 70s with the Black Panthers.
The Los Angeles riots.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, okay. It was even before.
Yeah, Rodney King.
Yeah, that's where like that phrase comes from. So it's like he didn't just make that up, right? It's like kind of like it has like its own like kind of like race background previous to that, right?
Yeah,
which makes me believe that Trump isn't as dumb as he thinks he is.
No, I don't think so.
Or people think he is.
Yeah, I think he's an idiot, but like an idiot for a different reason. He's clearly smart enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Like I would say he's like a buffoon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's just he can't talk in complete sentences. Like I don't know. Like if you just look at the scripts of what he says, like sometimes it just makes no sense. And he's just like, regardless of whether you agree with a person like on the political spectrum, or like Democrat or Republican or where they slide on the scale, the type of person they are, like whether they're presidential in quotes or not, matters, right? Even if you're like, oh, I disagree with everything that Obama believes on the spectrum, that's totally fine. Everyone's, has the right to their own opinions and beliefs. But there's no doubt, like, dude, the guy who's presidential, if you have kids, you could be like, that's the president of the United States, when you grow up, you can be just cool, like the president.
He's calm, he's collected, Yeah.
It's supposed to be inspirational,
Nobody is looking at Donald Trump being their kids like, oh, you can be the president just like this guy. Dude, nobody.
But there is, though, man.
Nobody.
There is people in the States saying that.
But like they should be.
It's pretty much like south of like Illinois. Like southeast, pretty much they're all saying it.
He definitely doesn't help stuff. And dude, if he gets here's some of my thoughts. If however long this sort of unrest goes on, and when I don't want to say things are going to fizzle out, but like people can't riot and protest every day for like months and months. Maybe they can. I have no idea, right? But if things sort of calm down, maybe hopefully we make real progress. Dude, then Trump gets reelected, and then dude just like people protest again, and it starts up again. Dude, people will lose it if he gets reelected.
Oh, for sure.
There's a real possibility.
It's kind of crazy though, because like everybody was thinking about the damage he would do in 4 years, and then like we get so close to the end of the 4 years, and this is like the most extreme damage that he's doing right now.
Dude, 2020 has been like rough. Like I saw a tweet where somebody said that he's like, oh, I feel bad for when the kids study 2020 in history. Like this chapter is hefty. And it's like,
that 1 year alone.
That's the thing though. Like the 4 years he's been there, like they've all been rough, but like this is the first real big like crisis he's hit, right? This whole year, right? Mm-hmm. Starting off with the coronavirus and now leading into this, and he has not done well.
Yeah, he doesn't help. He just sort of fades the flames.
No, exactly. All right. Well, Ian, man, thanks for coming on. Do you want to stick around for the rest of this thing? Like, it's really up to you.
Might as well.
Yeah,
I just wanted to.
Right.
So I just wanted to say the Brinkus stories last episode where it brought me back. I actually do have a Brinkus story, a really quick one. That
Go ahead, dude.
I think I've told you guys this story, but
yeah, dude, tell us. We love a good Brinkus story.
it was grade 8, and his soccer team would throw these dances, I guess, to like raise money for their soccer team, and they would have like pizza and like I guess a DJ and all this. So we go, and as soon as we get there, Brinkus meets a girl, and he starts dancing with her, and he's all happy and stuff. At about halfway through the night, we just like lose contact of him. We don't know where he is, and none of us had a cell phone at that point. And then we finally find him, and he's like wiping his mouth, and he looks disgusted, and we're like, "Yo, what happened?" And he goes, "Man, I made out with that girl, and she put her tongue in my mouth." And me, Justin, and I think it was Darcy at the time. We just like dropped to the ground, crying of laughter, because he was so like upset and so like disappointed.
That's funny.
Goddamn Brinkus, I tell you. All right. Okay, well, yeah, we do have actually some notes here, so we'll just fill you in. We have a top 5 too, Ian, just to let you know, which obviously you don't know what the hell we're doing, but
no,
it's you know enough about it that you could probably throw some names out there. So
you know what? I can toss it in the Zoom chat forum.
Oh, look at you. Okay.
No one can see it.
No one can see it.
Yeah.
We'll keep it a secret for the next 10 minutes before we review
Yeah,
it.
we're just doing things on the fly. And hopefully,
okay.
the rest of the podcast will, we tackle the tough topics. We haven't in a while, but, we'll bring some humor, some levity in these trying times.
Let's try to, lift the spirits of the people a little here. Well, actually, I'm not going to do that right now by saying that I watched the Jeffrey Epstein documentary on Netflix.
Same.
Oh
man, I haven't seen it. I feel left out.
It's pretty rough, man.
And all the famous people that connected in that. Like, I was so shocked to see. I don't know if it's gonna ruin it, but like, he plays a very, very minor part. Chris Tucker was in it.
Yeah, I saw him trending reasons on Twitter.
Yeah, man, he's like, which like it seemed like there was no funny business going on there. That seemed like that part of it seemed legit. You know what I mean? Like the reason he was there.
Yeah, the Clinton plane to Africa for.
Yeah, apparently, kind of like that was all fine. But dude, did this guy love his massages or what, man?
Yeah,
especially by 14-year-olds. It was insane. Yeah, John, you gotta watch it.
He created a pyramid scheme of like girls, just like underage girls, just running into his place and giving him massage.
That's exactly what it was.
Hundreds of girls.
So he would like get one girl, she would give him a few massages, I guess, right? And then he'd say like, "Oh, you have any friends?" And so he'd say to her like, "I'll give you $200 for each friend you bring, and then I'll also give them $200." Right? So it's like one girl would bring in like 40 other girls, like
she's
over
making
a span
bank
of a couple years, right? Yeah. So like that's where the whole soliciting prostitutes and stuff like that came from in the whole case, right? It was pretty insane. But like I don't know if you found this too. Maybe I'm just an asshole, but I found like by the end of it, like I'm happy it was only 4 episodes, because like after the third I would have stopped watching, because like the whole documentary is very like survivor based, like based on the women and survivors, which is right. Like that's this documentary probably should have looked at. But like from a pure entertainment standpoint, it like wasn't overly entertaining, because you're just kind of hearing the same thing over and over from different people, right?
Yeah, that's why I was kind of happy that there's like 2 other documentaries about him coming out, and one of them is just focusing on who killed him.
Oh, really?
As opposed to
that's what I was hoping they were going to focus on in the 4th episode, and they didn't. I was a little bummed.
Because my mom has the Android box, and we have the investigation Discovery Channel, and like they're creating a documentary based off just who killed him.
Oh, sick.
Because there's no way that like he just died from suicide from what?
Oh, he was murdered 100%. Like,
yeah,
I have no doubts.
The dude had cameras all over his house.
It's like, did Carol Baskin murder her husband?
Definitely.
Yeah, that's Carol Baskin murdered her husband. Yes, she did. Just like Jeffrey Epstein was murdered.
Wait, speaking of this, I saw, and I couldn't believe this. I was almost going to add to the notes. With the protests going on, O.J. Simpson spoke about it. Did you see this? He said that we're not going to make progress until they hold murderers accountable. They got to put them in jail. And people are like, O.J. Simpson, are you serious right now? You're talking about holding murderers accountable? This is ridiculous.
The worst person to speak on the topic.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it when I saw that.
I'd be interested to watch that documentary about like because the more like conspiracy about it. But did you hear all the stuff like with the Anonymous coming back?
Yes.
Their leaks and stuff. Did you see this, Ian?
No.
Yeah, so like
Anonymous as in like the hacker group?
Yeah. So they've just like apparently they've been like radio silent for like 3 years. And they just came out yesterday, I think it was, and just released a ton of stuff, and a bunch of stuff was about Jeffrey Epstein. So they're saying that Donald Trump had much more of a role in like the whole like trafficking thing than kind of what's been led on, and that he had Epstein murdered, like him specifically. Yeah, and like I know they're just like a hacker group, but like when have they been wrong about things? Like they've been pretty spot on, like their whole kind of existence. You know what I mean? They're like pretty reputable,
scary,
sort of,
right? Because they operate in the shadows, and they're just like, we're back. You're like, oh no,
something's going on.
Yeah.
It's not like they're trying to make false claims or anything. It's really just hacking in, getting all the data and releasing the data and making the data speak for itself, right?
Yeah,
exactly. They're just finding all this kind of classified information.
Yeah, they don't give commentary, right? They release, hey, here's the data that people don't want you to see. Take a look and make your own conclusions, which are usually pretty simple to make because the evidence they release is pretty damning most of the time.
Yeah. All right, John, you watched a movie.
I did. So I don't know if either of you have watched this movie. 1997 classic that was on Disney Plus. Watched it last night. Jungle to Jungle with Tim Allen. Have either of you guys ever seen this movie?
No.
Ah, you're missing out. So Tim Allen, he's going to get married soon. So he's got to fly to Venezuela to meet his ex-wife to get the divorce papers signed. Well, I guess to Venezuela, and they're like, oh, your wife's not here. She's on some other island. So he's like, what the hell? Goes to the other island, sees his wife, right? Because they separated like 12 years ago. And she's like, oh, when we separated, I was pregnant, but, you didn't know. So finds out he has a kid that grew up in this island tribe. Mimi Siku is the kid's name. And then Tim Allen's like a stockbroker, or he's like a commodity trader. That's what he is. The kid becomes like a man, right? He passes the, what's it called? Like coming of age. What's it called? Like his, I can't remember the term.
Rite of passage.
Rite of passage.
Bar mitzvah for them.
Yeah. Right. And he gets given the task. He's got to bring back the fire from the Statue of Liberty. Because, obviously people don't know it's a real fire. So then the kid goes back to New York City with Tim Allen, and then hijinks ensue. I was just going to say, you know what? Still holds up. And I was curious because I was like, okay, is there going to be anything in this movie that they wouldn't say nowadays? And there was only one joke, because you guys might know Tim Allen, he's got that sort of witty demeanor. He's showing the kid how to hail a cab, right? He says, oh, if you want to go anywhere in my jungle, you just put up your hand. Kid puts up his hand, cab shows up, and he goes, oh, that's magic, right? Or something like that. And Tim Allen goes like, oh, magic will be if he speaks English. And right, of course, the guy pulls up and he has a turban on. I was like, oh, they wouldn't have said that nowadays.
Oh, no, that's a no-go. Yeah.
But no, still holds up.
All right,
that was it.
Maybe I'll check that out. Another movie on Disney Plus, real quick, Cool Runnings.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's on there. I've watched it a few times. Fantastic movie. All right, shall we get into it?
Top 5.
The top 5. And this is like super off topic. This has nothing to do with anything we've spoken of.
No,
all day.
I'm surprised you haven't done this earlier.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't either, to be honest with you. All right, our top 5 favorite athletes. That's what we're doing. I guess because it's like we try to stray away from just sports talk, and this is kind of really sports related, obviously. But screw it, we do what we want here.
Yeah, we've had 50 plus top 5s. We're running out of stuff. You guys got to write in. We're running,
yeah.
Please.
All right. Okay, John, you want to start?
I'll start us off with my number 5. Number 5, Nathan McKinnon, center for the Colorado Avalanche. Now, it's always hard when you do lists of favorites, right? Because they're so subjective. But it's he's really good at hockey. And he's been on my fantasy team the past few years, and he kills it there. And I just like him.
That's what it all comes down to. All right.
Good player. And that's pretty much it. I mean, that's kind of the justification for a lot of these.
All right. Well, my number 5 is Roy Halladay, the former pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays. So I think growing up, he was the first. Well, he's the pretty much since I've been alive, he's been the only true ace pitcher that the Blue Jays have ever had. You know what I mean? The star of the show, the guy that you can count on to get you a win every 5 days. And man, he was just so dominant watching him play. he was unreal. And so he was like the bright light in the garbage that were the Jays for so many years, right? So yeah, I liked him, and unfortunately he passed away, obviously. But yeah, Roy Halladay, it's awesome. Ian, you wanna throw it in? I guess you don't really have to number yours if you have any, because
yeah,
you haven't had time.
number
Obviously.
5 for me would be Carmelo Anthony.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I was getting into basketball, I got in it right at the time he started like snapping for New York Knicks, and I started watching the Knicks like heavily after that point. And my friend Aaron, who was a big fan of his, like who basically was just sending me clips after clips of just Melo from his college days to his Denver days to his to his earlier New York days, and just he's one of the most proficient scorers in the NBA, bar none. And despite the fact he hasn't won a ring, I still would put him down as one of my favorites because he was a very enjoyable player to watch. And when he got going with his threes, like he would just start dropping them like they were nothing.
He was dominant for years. Like he had a good 8-year run where he was just dominant. But like what spoiled his like reputation is just the past few years. You know what I mean? Well, it shouldn't have spoiled it, but like it will.
Yeah, if he learned how to play with Jeremy Lin, I feel like that team would have actually made it far in the playoffs.
Yeah,
his ego got in the way of that. But
yeah, that's true too. All right, John.
All right, my number 4. I'm also going to the NBA. I put LeBron James. Now you could think, he could be even higher, right? But he's on the list because now I was going to say because I like winners, but it's not just winners. I don't want to say powerful, but it's like, man, the guy is a force. He went to the finals how many years in a row? I just love that it was like, he went to Cleveland,
like 9 straight years,
right? And Cleveland was terrible. He managed to drag him to the finals, and then I think they lost that original time, right? And then he's like, all right, I got to go learn to win. Then he goes, he makes the finals like another 4 years in a row, learns to win. And then he comes back home. Yeah, and he keeps making the finals. And dude, the legendary block that he made.
Yeah, know what? I'm a big LeBron James fan too. He's not on my list, but I do like him a lot. That block, I remember watching that. Me and my dad were watching that series. That series was so good. Cleveland versus oh my god.
Yeah.
Cleveland was down 3-1 and they like slowly just started storming back. Like LeBron just threw the team on his back and was like, let's go get it.
I don't know if you guys were fans of the NBA when LeBron was on the Miami team, because that team in the playoffs during the finals against San Antonio as well as I think it was OKC.
Yeah.
They were just magical, man. Like him and Dwayne Wade had another personal connection that I've never seen on the court before.
They were like they're best friends, right? Like it's insane. I remember when Ray Allen went there too. I think that was against San Antonio. Yeah. I think that was like the third year they were there.
Yes. And he made one of the final shots, right?
Yeah, and he made that shot against Boston too in the conference finals. That was wild. All right, I'll move on. Okay, my number 4. Oh, geez, look, we're on an NBA roll here. DeMar DeRozan. Now, see, like, it's tough because on this list I can say Kyle Lowry because, he's still here. He won a championship. I can say, like, Kawhi because, he came here and won the championship, but now he's gone. But, like, DeMar, there's nothing. I wish DeMar could, like, get a ring somehow from this. You know what I mean? I feel like he was so instrumental in the Raptors winning without actually getting anything in return. And, like, he's the only player because, the big sport in Toronto is hockey, right? Basketball players generally don't want to come here. Baseball players don't want to come here. It just is the way it is, right? But he was one guy who came here and he just embraced it. He's like, I want, you know what I mean? I want to be here. I don't want to be anywhere else. I want this team. Like, he wasn't like, obviously, like Kawhi was a better player. There's no doubt about it, right? But like, the thing I love about DeMar is like, every year, he just worked on one little thing to improve, and get better and better and better. He wasn't the best player, but his work ethic was unbelievable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It just sucked that he faltered in the playoffs so much.
I know. That's the thing.
People figured out his game like so easily.
I know he was far from perfect, but I loved his just commitment to like Toronto. Right, I'm a homer. I love all the Toronto teams, so of course I'm going to go with him.
Was it him that had a 0-point game? I'm trying to remember who it was.
I think so.
It was someone on the Raptors.
And then he got benched.
It was Lowry.
0 points. Was it Lowry had 0 points?
I think it was Lowry.
All right.
No, I think it was DeRozan actually. Because
sure?
There was one point where he got benched and he just like ignored the team and didn't want to talk to anybody. I think that was
maybe. Yeah, they got slapped around by LeBron James a few times, man. Ay.
All right. Oh no, we're at Ian now.
Yeah, we're at Ian.
Yeah. My number 4 might shock you, but I'm going to say Joe Sakic from the Colorado Avalanche.
Oh,
Dude, that's a good pick.
damn, that is a great pick.
I didn't watch hockey often enough, but like in NHL, the games, like I would always use Colorado, and like dude was a beast, man. Him and Forsberg were like such a great combination.
Oh, dude, I forgot about Peter
Yeah.
Forsberg. That's wild. Joe Sakic was like, dude, that wrist shot was out of this world, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Joe Sakic was so good. One of the best players that like doesn't get talked about is not nearly as much, but he's like a top 10 player all time.
See, I didn't even know that. I just
Like
thought he was just like
he's got to
really
be
dope
pretty
at
damn
hockey.
close. Yeah, top 10, top 15. Like he's that good, man.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, John, to you, number 3.
Number 3, sticking with hockey, I'm going for the great one himself, Wayne Gretzky. Now,
Oh,
he was a little bit before our era. He played while we were growing up, but like we were too young that we didn't really get to appreciate it. But the thing that that puts him high on my list why I like Wayne Gretzky is they call him the great one for a reason. The guy's statistics are just insane. And now you often look at like the era he played and it's like, well, everybody scored so much back then. But he was crushing those guys by so much.
yeah, that's true.
No one in the NHL has ever had a 200-point season. Oh, and Wayne Gretzky did it 4 times, right? Like
Holy
this
shit.
type of stuff you'll just never, ever see nowadays. The craziest statistic that I read about him was, so he stopped playing in 1997.
Mm-hmm.
If he still played every
Oh, that was
game-
99.
or sorry, yes, 99.
Yeah, 99.
He still
yeah.
played every game from when he retired until like just last year or a year before. He would have just at that point reached the point per game level, right? Of like 1 point per game. So same number
That's
of points
crazy.
earned for
So it's like 20 years after.
yeah, because that's how many
Gee,
more
wow.
points. Yeah.
Yeah, 20 seasons. That's how many more points he had than games played. That's wild.
He's like a Canadian icon, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. All right, my number 3, Tiger Woods. Now, like, I don't think, and John, this probably goes for you too. I don't think we'd even be interested in golf if it wasn't for Tiger Woods. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he helped mainstream it.
He helped mainstream. He turned it from an old man sport to a sport that everyone could like, right? And he was so dominant in his time. And like, I remember my dad pulling out like the old tube TV from like their bedroom and bringing it downstairs to like the kitchen, and like on a Sunday, like he's cooking dinner, but he's like watching the Masters on TV. I remember like this stuff, right? Him like pulling it down and then just being like, oh, okay, I'll check this out, I guess too, right? And then like, oh, this guy Tiger Woods, oh, he's so good. He said, and that's all you heard was Tiger Woods, right? So then you end up just like, well, we ended up falling in love with golf, obviously, right? But like just the pure dominance. And like that's something I love about athletes too. When they're like you said about Wayne Gretzky, right? When they're like just they're in a completely different world than everybody else. And Tiger Woods is in that world for golf, in like arguably one of the hardest sports in the world too. And he's like, there's no golfer that separated himself like Tiger Woods did. You know what I mean? His like just his presence on a Sunday and his red shirt would scare people. They'd crumble from the top of the leaderboard. If he was like in 4th place going into Sunday, he pretty much had the tournament locked down because the guys in front of him would crumble. They'd be terrified that he was coming right up behind them. Like just the mind games he played with all these other guys. He was in their heads. It was incredible.
Yeah, I can't disagree, right? He turned it from the old man sport into like an athletic sport, He was working out, crushing the ball further than anybody else. They had to change the way the courses were designed to make them longer in order
because of him.
To make them tiger proof. And dude, great athlete name, Tiger Woods. It's awesome.
Incredible name, yeah. All right, Ian.
Number 3. Yeah, number 3. Probably a guy who plays for my favorite team now, Sergio Aguero. I got to since I started watching soccer, I got to see him become the all-time leading city scorers with like I think 145 or 47 goals now.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Within 5 seasons or 6 seasons now.
Dude, that's it?
That's a lot.
I was
of
expecting
goals,
it to be way more
for soccer.
seasons.
Like
That's impressive. Yeah.
I thought he's been there for like 15 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That's crazy.
No, I think it's a short time. I may be underscoring that. Yeah, it's crazy too because like in soccer, you can have basically he's the striker, right? So he's responsible for goals, but he's been paired with so many different strikers, and still he's been the main guy on that team. And he's undroppable at this point. And whenever he's injured, it's like definitely felt. Yeah, I would have to put him as my top 3.
All right, John.
Oh, back to me.
Number 2.
My number 2. I had Tiger Woods as well. Well, which was
Oh,
great.
Nice.
And specifically for the reason that he's so dominant, right? And golf is a super difficult sport to be consistent in. And for him to be so, managed to be at the top for so long. And another thing, it's not appreciated with Tiger Woods by a lot of people is, dude, he reached the top, but he had the fall. He crumpled.
Yeah.
It seemed like, Tiger Woods might never, ever play golf again, right? He tried to come back, and then he was just, shooting like, a 10. I don't know. Maybe I'm just making that up. But it wasn't going well for him, right?
No.
And it was like, maybe his career's done. Multiple back surgeries, right? They're like, will he ever even swing a club again? And then he won a major last year. He's back.
The Masters of all, like the biggest tournament in all of golf. Like that was crazy too, because he went through his personal life just went to shambles. You know what I mean? He caught cheating on his wife and whatever. Yeah, and then shortly after, he started having injuries, and then it was like, oh man, it was like a good 6 years without maybe not 6, but like good 3-4 years without true Tiger Woods. It was kind of like, all right, that's it. Like he's done. There's no way he's coming back. He's in his 40s now. He's had his neck fused together with his back. Like there's no way he's coming back. And he changed his game, learned how to play again. And then he goes and wins the Masters last year. Like what an incredible turnaround.
And if you want evidence of the Tiger effect, he won it the day we were flying back home from New Brunswick last year after visiting Anthony.
Yeah.
You would look and you'd see people on their phone right after the plane landed talking, Tiger Woods is up by 2. Tiger Woods is up by 3. Like it's, people are talking, people who don't
we
normally
had a layover.
Yeah.
We had a layover in Ottawa. So people boop, throw their phones on or checking and stuff like that. Like, dude, you don't see that with golf ever.
No.
You just don't. But all of a sudden Tiger Woods is in contention at the Masters. Dude, it's big news. Like big news.
Yep. So Tiger Woods, my number 2.
Love it. All right. My number 2 is Tom Brady. Now, I know so many people hate Tom Brady and the Patriots, but when did they win their first title? 2001, 2002. So I'd have been, let's say, 10, 11 years old. My dad would always watch Super Bowl. I'd just kick around, and I saw this guy win the Super Bowl. I didn't know anything about football at the time. I was pretty young. And I said, I like this guy. This is the team I'm going to follow from here on out. Obviously, they just won. So it's kind of like bandwagoning, but screw it. I'm 10 years old. That doesn't count. And then that was it. And he went on to win 5 more championships after that with the Patriots. And dude, just talk about a true champion. You know what I mean? To win 6 Super Bowl rings, 6 championships in any sport is insane. It's very few do it. Obviously, Michael Jordan's one of them, but there's very few guys who do that. You know what I mean? And his teams generally were pretty junk all around him, but he just had that competitive drive. And I love it too, because he wasn't the most talented. Again, right? He wasn't the most talented quarterback. He didn't have the best arm. He didn't have the best accuracy, but he outthought everybody else. He thought the game better than everyone else did, right? And he was just so smart. He still, shouldn't say he's still playing and into his 40s, and he's still good, right? But
yeah, and didn't he win?
He's still playing
his first season, because he was originally a backup and then switched.
Yeah, he was a back because he was drafted 199th overall in the 6th round. He was a nobody, and he came in his first year. Their quarterback got injured after I think it was in game 4. Tom Brady came in and then went on to win the Super Bowl that year. It was pretty crazy. And the craziest thing I've ever seen with Tom Brady is the 28-3 comeback in the Super Bowl against the Falcons.
Yeah,
dude, it was the 4th quarter. It's 28-3, and he just wills the team back to tie it up and then win it in overtime. That was the craziest sporting event I've seen in my life. It was just insane. I couldn't believe it. So that's it. Mr. Tom Brady at number 2.
He's considered a GOAT though, right? For football, I would imagine.
Yeah. But a lot of people hate him. So
I feel like that's just the Patriots though, not hate for him, right?
Yeah, everybody hates the Patriots, right? And he just falls in there too. So
well, we'll see. He switched teams this season.
He's not there anymore, right? Which is still weird. But
now he's
whatever.
In Tampa Bay, which is so cringy.
He trademarked that instantly.
Dude, got to get that merch money. I appreciate a good businessman.
Ian, you got number 2?
Yeah, Lionel Messi.
Oh, another soccer star.
This guy is a menace, and some of the skills I've seen from him is just unbelievable, and similar to Tom Brady. I guess he has that magic in him that just makes him control a game and dominate for the last couple seconds and win a game. And the craziest I seen was they were facing Real Madrid, which which are their rivals, and it was 2-2. Real just scored, and I think it was close to like the 90th minute, and Barcelona brings the ball up. Somehow, I don't know what they did, but the defense just shifted and left Lionel Messi open in front of goal, and the ball just slid over to Messi, and he just scores it. And he takes off his jersey and holds it up in front of all the Real Madrid fans. And just like he bows his head in like the most goat way possible.
Ah, dude, I love that.
The camera pans to Cristiano Ronaldo, and he's like losing it, like fucking cursing and just like kicking the ground and like punching it and shit. It's crazy.
Oh, dude, it's you know what? That's just a little sidetrack here. I love like celebrations in all sports. Like the more outlandish they are, the better. Like I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. I love the showmanship.
That's the one thing I don't like about baseball. You flip the bat and the pitchers lose it.
Oh, I know. They're just a bunch of babies, man. But one of them I watch because hockey, they get excited, but you don't see anything too crazy, right? But was Patrick Kane in the playoffs? I just saw this clip the other day. So he scores a goal and then like skates to like the blue line, slides on his knees, and then takes his two hands and like creates a heart like this, and then like smashes through it. Like so, his whole thing was breaking hearts, right? So he's like,
that's pretty good.
I was like, oh, dude, that's such a good thing. Like, yeah, it was hilarious. Yeah, that was his whole thing, breaking hearts.
Do you know what I do like about baseball though? The walkout music. Like if you have a sick walkout song,
that's
I feel like
true
it would,
too.
like,
Yeah,
things up.
Dude, that could be a top five walkout songs.
It could be.
Yeah, we'll keep that in the back pocket. All right, John, honorable mentions.
My honorable mention, somebody you just mentioned, Tom Brady. Again, because, dude, like that 28-3, that gets you into the list somewhere.
Yes, it gets you on the list for sure. Yeah.
Enough said.
No, perfect. Ian?
Honorable mention for me is going to be Mike Tyson.
Oh,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Dude, he's back.
He's back, yeah. It's kind of crazy. I was watching this documentary about him, and he used to apparently just like his walkout music would just be like chains like clapping against each other and just like ominous music.
That's so cool.
And he would just come out. He would come out without like a robe on, and you'd be like drenched in sweat, and he looks like he just wants to kill you. And apparently, he did this thing where when they're doing the face down, like he would just keep your eyes on you and not like break contact.
Oh
and
my God.
you can see people's faces just fold after they realize that they're not going to break his contact, and like
I love that.
they just get knocked out in like the third round or what have you. But he was just one of those dominant fighters that will remain a legend to this day.
You know what's crazy is like the three of us could get in a ring against him, and he's like, what, 52, 53 now? He could just destroy all of us at once. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, I think we went out of order here, didn't we? I was supposed to go, and then Ian. Not that it matters, but yeah, because we're on honorable mention. My honorable mention is Michael Jordan. So yeah, well, me and Ian have been talking about this, so kind of recently. Yeah. So obviously, the new documentary, The Last Dance, is out, and I'm through like half of it. I haven't gone through it all, or else it probably would have bumped up my list. But watching that documentary made me look completely differently at Michael Jordan and the rest of the NBA now, even LeBron James. Right? This is probably the reason LeBron James didn't get onto my list. He probably would have been on my list before watching that documentary, but now watching just like the determination, the drive that Michael Jordan had, it's like, damn, it makes me look less at LeBron James now. It's kind of weird, right? But yeah, Michael Jordan was something else, man. So I'm sure once I'm done this documentary, he probably bumps up my list. But we were like a little too young to actually watch him,
Yeah, he was like a Wayne Gretzky in that kind of.
Yeah, I don't remember him at all playing for the Bulls. I remember him playing for the Wizards. Like that's as early as I started watching basketball. So yeah, I don't know. So yeah, Michael Jordan, honorable mention. John, choice.
All right, my number one. As if there could be any other.
Oh, I know.
Martin Brodeur.
I know what it is too.
Goaltender for the Jersey Devils. Back in the 90s into the 2000s. I did my speech on him in grade 7. Now, is he the greatest goalie of all time? No, I don't think he's the greatest, but he's up there. He was just my favorite.
Oh, yeah.
He's the reason I love the New Jersey Devils to this day. And I must love them to follow them after years of despair because they have nothing.
That's true, too.
Recently.
As someone who doesn't watch hockey, what would he be, like top 3, top 5, top 10?
I'd say top 3.
Yeah. Him, Patrick Waugh,
top
Dominic Hasek's probably best all time.
I think Dominic Hasek, he doesn't get as much love, but he's definitely number 1.
Yeah.
I think Brodeur's probably number 2, just based off his stats alone. Like it's hard to argue. Like
yeah, he's got like
holds like every
wins.
record pretty much.
It's insane.
Shutouts, the whole bit. He owns all the records, but I think just pure skill, Dominic Hasek was probably number 1.
I would agree.
He was outrageous. Yeah. Yeah, well, we all knew that was going to be your choice. So, all right, Ian, number one.
My number one is gonna be Michael Jordan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that documentary. I watched it twice, and like I'm just still amazed at the just sheer confidence that guy had on and off the court. Like
Yeah.
the way he would just intimidate people and just get motivated by the littlest things.
Yeah,
I always like found that very enjoyable.
Anything would set him off. Didn't matter what it was. Like if people were just talking about a new player on the other team or something like that, like just like in the media, they're like, "Oh yeah, this guy's pretty good coming up." It would piss Michael Jordan off, and he would go directly at that guy and just like guard him all night and just score over him because he's like, "No, I'm the best here," and that's it. Like he was like, he definitely has some type of mental issue for sure. Like he's like way too competitive, but like he was just like. I don't think anybody in the world has that drive. It was just insane.
No, and like one of my favorites was when he was facing Boston in the playoffs, or the Bulls were, and he went out to golf with like the owner of the Celtics.
Yeah,
and then they dropped him off, and then he turns to his friend and he goes, "Yo, tell your boy that I'm gonna watch what I'm gonna do tomorrow night." And he ends up dropping like 60 the next night.
Yeah,
dude, he went out to golf with the owner of
Danny Ainge
of the team.
Yeah,
he's
Danny
playing.
Ainge was there too, who was a player at the time. Yeah, yeah.
Wow,
dude, you got to watch this documentary.
I do.
Man.
I was waiting for the whole thing to be released, and now it's here.
You don't even have to like basketball or Michael Jordan. I don't think to like this documentary. It's just that good. Like, yeah, that's a good one. All right, my number one, Mats Sundin.
Sundin.
Yeah, I gotta be. Coming.
I love the Leafs, and he was like the first player, you know what I mean, that I remember watching growing up and watched him, and he was there till 2008, I think it was. So, my whole like young years and teenage years, he was the captain of the team, right? And he was being a Leaf fan. He was just my favorite player. Simple as that. Mats Sundin, the best Toronto athlete ever. Did we lose Ian there?
No.
Oh, no. Okay. Just your video's gone. All right.
I think a lot of it comes from like sort of when you grow up, right? Because he's sort of,
for sure,
the prime guy of the years that you had, right? Just like how you said, like Wayne Gretzky, we sort of missed out on him, and like Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
So like sort of affects that.
Yeah, Michael Jordan and Wayne Gretzky were like the same era.
Yeah. But no, that's a good choice. I mean, the hometown team captain when I growing up.
Doesn't get better than that. All right. Oh, John, you got another note here. Something about Instagram.
Oh, yes. We just skipped right over this.
Danny, Instagram, Danny?
So, you guys may know.
Still holding out.
The second century, I said, the ScruffCast, we want to start making moves. You guys may have noticed last week on the YouTube upload, got a little fancy, right? Put a little audio waveform in there. We're getting bougie. I even got a comment from one of our longtime listeners, Kaylon. He said, "Oh, are those audio waves new, or have they always been there?" I was like, "No, homie, they're new." So I did that, but I was also shaking people down on the gram. We used to be at the ScruffCast. Now we're just at ScruffCast. Drop the like Facebook. Circa 2007.
How'd you make that happen?
Nice.
We'll work my magic.
All right.
I shook him down and intimidated him. I said, if you don't drop the and give it to us, we're going to leave your platform with our millions of listeners. Mark Zuckerberg messaged me. He said, whoa. Okay, we'll drop the. We'll drop the. There we go.
And that's it. Just ScruffCast. Love it.
Yeah. So you guys can find us on Twitter at ScruffCast, on Instagram at ScruffCast.
Nice and easy. Or you can go to our website.
Yes.
We got a website now.
Yeah,
my God. Look at us.
Forgot about that. And the ScruffCast.com.
That's right. All right. Ian, thanks for joining us. Like super, super last minute, by the way. We greatly appreciate it and your feedback.
Yeah, definitely.
I appreciate that.
I mean, you're
always a pleasure.
You're a good guy.
Yeah.
A good friend, and you're way too nice to us. Right? You're like one of the nicest people we know. I'm like, why are you so nice to us? Like when you give us those mugs, I still feel like in debt. I'm like, this was too nice. I can't take this. So,
this is it. This is how we cleared it, though. We got him on like a midway through podcast.
Yeah.
Debt has been paid now.
Yeah. So
no, I'm kidding.
So thanks. We'll always have your back.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys always have your backs as well, man. I love the ScruffCast. This place is dope.
All right.
At least somebody does.
At least somebody likes us. Thanks, Ian. All right, that was episode 102 of the ScruffCast. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll catch you next time.
Got me like, oh, as I'm watching her go. All I'm thinking is, oh, damn, that bad thing. I can tell you're really good at distracting.
It's like putting dessert out at like a, fat camp.